Hey, 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 beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of Mondays with Mondene. This is where we dive deep into life, love, liberty, democracy, and now more than ever, we got to tell the truth. I'm your host, Edie Mondene, and tonight we're graced with a legacy bearer, a visionary, a healer, a revolutionary, someone whose life work has literally helped birth a better world for generations to come. Our guest this evening is none other than Shafia Monroe, a nationally celebrated midwife, doula, trainer, cultural competency educator, and motivational speaker. Now, there's something that I'm really proud of. In 2016, Madame Noor crowned her the Queen Mother of a midwife movement, and believe me, that title doesn't even begin to cover it. Born in Boston and rooted in justice, Shafia has spent her life empowering Black families, uplifting birth workers, and challenging a broken maternal health system that continues to fail our women, especially, you know what it is, our Black women. She is the founder of the International Center for Traditional Childbearing, a trailblazer in training over 2,000 doulas across the country, and a force behind increasing the number of Black midwives in the United States of this our America. Tonight, we talk legacy, we talk healing, we talk truth. Shafia, welcome to Mondays with Mondene. It's an honor to have you here.
Well, it's an honor to be here. Thank you. I love the opportunity to come share and talk with you. You're one of my favorite people in Portland.
Oh!
Absolutely. You've been just a great support of all of our conferences. You believe in the work. And, to this day, I want to bring in that bag you gave me that means so much to me. That bag that looked like your grandma's bag, that midwife bag. It means a lot. In fact, I'm going to be building a Black museum, midwife museum in Alabama. We've lost a lot of our elders, me being an elder myself. And there's no way to capture what we've done. So I decided to create a small Black midwives museum on our property in Alabama. And so I have that bag and a lot of other things. We're going to be asking families whose midwife has passed on to give us one item. It could be her shoes, her Bible, her Quran, her bag, and her name, what she's done, because we need to remember this work. This work began in Africa, came across the ocean, on the plantations, through Jim Crow, through the civil rights movement, Black Power movement, and here we are today still moving that legacy, as you said, because the work is not done, and the calling of the Creator has never ended for the midwife. As they said in the Genesis, do not kill the firstborn, and Shipra and Puah did not do it. And so we walk behind them and our great midwives who walked those plantations, helping women in pain and dealing with the rape victims and, through Jim Crow and couldn't get help, and they were there. And I love those women. I look up to them. They're my mentors, my spiritual mentors.
Well, and then they speak to us.
They do.
I before I came tonight, I said, I welcome the ancestors into our space.
Thank you.
And I wanted them to speak to us tonight. Let's jump into this. You've been birthing change for decades, from Boston to Portland. You didn't just bring life into the world. You brought transformation. How do you define functionality in community? Not just as a midwife, but as a cultural icon, a mother, and a builder of systems.
Functionality of community?
Yeah.
Well, the functions that our goal for me, my purpose is to make sure that we're aware of our purpose, that we're aware of our humanity, we're here for a purpose from the Creator. So functionality means that we're going to function in a way that every single person in our realm, in our distance that we can touch is okay. That's where we come from. We come from a legacy where each person said, "Are you okay?" I talked to my grandma from Alabama, and she talked about during Depression that when they slaughtered a hog, it went to everybody in the area. When it was time to make that quilt, they surely came. When they built that roof, everyone showed up. And so they had a strong community. They were functional, and that's how they made it. And that's how we made it. And we see that disconnect now. And I think as a Black midwife that's walking the legacy of our ancestral midwives, of the ones that came on the boat here against their will, but still kept their spirituality and humanity for Black and white. And they helped everybody. So they were functional. They made sure everybody was okay to the best of their ability. And so that's what we need to get back to. And I'm glad you asked that question because I worry about our children. You know, the
Yeah.
functionality of what's happened to our babies out here where their parents are just not able to do what they need to do for them or they don't know how to do it. So the hunger, the abuse, our school system is failing our children. I saw it in your restaurant. I pulled it. If you've been victimized as a child in school, call this number. Why do
Yeah.
we have something like that?
Yeah.
You're supposed to go to school to be loved, to be educated, to be motivated, to be a wonderful universal citizen to make us all remain, as you said, functional for the better of humankind.
Well, you know,
And
they
so,
took functionality and made it for us. This is the word that I hear all the time.
okay.
We're resilient as a people. Yeah, because we learn to be functional.
Right.
And that's a whole different place, don't you
Exactly,
think?
right. So I mean, being resilient and being, so people say, let's say that we're surviving, but I'm saying, no, we want to thrive. We don't want to survive. We want to thrive. So being resilient can mean that, yes, you can take the hit, but are you able to grow?
Yeah.
You know? Resilient, you know, because resilience is like a form of abuse. Like, you know, I'm going to keep, and I love Maya Angelou's expression, and still we rise. So no matter what happens, it's still rising.
Yeah.
So that is one part of it. But along with resilience, we need to be functional, we need to be healing, we need to be thriving and growing and building our community.
So you can't have resilience without functionality.
Exactly.
That's powerful. You mentioned in other talks the necessity of passing the baton,
Yes.
the wisdom, the tools, the traditions. I want to ask you directly, what are 4 specific ways black women must give to the community in this moment? And I do say must. We don't have a choice. And not just in thought, but in action. And maybe one of each of the following: mind, body, soul, and legacy. How do we capture that right now?
I mean, the first thing we have to be is to thy own self be true. We have to be healing and functioning. I can't give what I don't have. So if someone needs to be healed, therapy, you know, help, take care of that because if without being healthy yourself on every level, you can't contribute. You need to be taken care of. So that's the first thing. You know, admit that you're not doing okay and go get the help.
The first thing that we need to do, and I agree wholeheartedly, is look introspectively
Yes.
and say, where do I need to be healed?
Right.
Wow.
And then second, it's like, what do you think you're here to do? I always tell people when I do my doula trainings, you're here in this training because you were compelled to come through some spiritual calling. And again, I'll keep going back to the black midwife. Most of the literature says that she was called. One said, I love it, she had a dream that she was delivering cows. And then later on she became a midwife. But they all said in the book, all their books that you read about black midwives of the 20th century, definitely a spiritual calling. So like, what is your calling? Because when you have a calling, like myself, I'm compelled to live it because it's that strong. And a lot of times we ignore our calling. We just think that, oh, whether it's a teacher or a midwife or, you know, wanting to be a mother even is a calling. Some people don't want kids, some people do. You know, recognize your calling and don't let people discourage you from doing it because that's between you and the Creator, you and God. He's telling you, or she is saying to you what you should do, and be able to hear that voice. We call it the mother wit, the first thought, intuition, the spiritual talk. You need to own it because a lot of people say, oh, I wish I had known years ago. I thought I wanted to be a teacher. I thought I wanted to be this, but you know, my mother told me not, my dad told me not to, or society told me not to, and I wish I could go back. And so my thing is, you know, second thing is to be true to yourself. Whatever you want to do it. You don't need anyone's permission. You know, when I became a midwife, no one told me to do it. In fact, they told me don't do it. Why you want to be a midwife? That's old fashioned. You know, that's old stuff. Ain't no one do that no more. You need to get to the hospital, use that doctor. And like, you know what? I couldn't do it. Something kept saying, I need to do this because I'm seeing black babies dying. I'm seeing our community not even know what their rights are being abused. Someone said, I have to do it. And it took a minute, but I just hung in there and today I'm blessed.
So we're looking at, first of all, understanding that we need to get it together.
Right.
And then, what is my purpose? Because
Right.
every one of us were created
That's right, for a reason.
with a purpose.
And then we leave here. So
And then we go.
That's right.
Poof.
That's right. So do it.
And don't even know when. Okay?
Exactly.
So if you're looking, you have an opportunity to find your purpose, and it's there.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you agree that we know what it
We
is,
do know what it is.
but we run from it a lot of times?
Thank you. The fear.
You
of,
know.
afraid to do it, don't want to do it. It's a sacrifice. Nothing
Yeah.
comes easy.
Yeah. What would be your third point? This is a must-do, y'all. We got to do these things.
I would say must do is to find your spiritual community, because everyone who does well with a foundation of love and support, and your cheerleaders, your mentors, your encouragers. You know, they're going to help you combat the soothsayers. We should not be doing this alone. So that's
Yeah.
my third one.
You can't do this by yourself.
Exactly.
You're going to need help along the way.
Right.
And so we're looking at just honestly taking a good look at where we are,
Right.
and then embracing what we should be, and then moving ahead with finding the formula that helps us stay together.
Right.
And then what are we going to do then?
Well, I'm going to say education. You know, because a lot of us, we're not educated. And if you're not educated, you don't know what to do or how to do it, because you're not reading, you didn't finish school, you're not listening to the right kind of news. You have to, you know, even for myself becoming a midwife, I'll be honest, I dropped out of school in the 10th grade. My mother died when I was 15. I was a 10th grader. I didn't go back to school. I had to go get my GED. That was a challenge. I had to put myself through college. I had to put myself through midwife school. But I had to educate myself. I knew I wanted to do it. I had the desire and the determination, but I had to find mentors who were midwives. I had to knock on doors, literally, and say to people, "Are you a midwife?" And they would say, "No." Like, who's this crazy lady? Knock on the door, I would see people, "Are you a midwife?" Someone said, "Yes." I said, "Oh my God, I have to learn from you." She's looked. I said, "Listen."
You literally
I
had
literally
that
did
experience?
that. I literally did that.
Tell us a little bit about that. That's fascinating.
I was standing on the corner, and I would look for older black women. I knew, you know, I already read the book, right? Old black granny midwives. So if they looked older, I would say, "Excuse me."
So what was the name of the book?
Well, one book is called, let me see. One book is called African American Midwives. So you have to just Google old books.
Yeah.
And you'll, wow, I can't even think of a book.
It's okay.
Archaeology of Mothering. That's the book. Listen to Me Good, Life of Alabama Midwife. Only Logan, Why Not Me? So these are all written by black midwives or people who wrote about them.
So you started to seek them out the only way you knew how, right?
Exactly. 'Cause I didn't know where they were. I didn't even know what they looked like.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I just stopped strangers. I'm in Boston doing this.
Oh my.
And I'm like 18, 19 years old.
And this is in modern, this is right now.
Yeah, modern time.
So,
Right.
geez.
And the first person who listened, who I talked to, was actually from the Congo. And so she was a midwife.
Oh,
I knew
my.
a lot of African women were midwives. So I stopped her, and I found some women from Alabama, and they were, you know, I'm 19, 20, and they're like maybe 50, 60, already retired. They're from Alabama. They're not even doing it. But they said, "Okay, we'll help you." So we started doing births together. And so little by little, I got the hands-on training.
Wow, this is powerful. You see, that's why we need elders and wisdom keepers in this hour especially, because we are losing our footing when it comes to our traditions. We're fighting systems that have never served us. But too often we're not fighting with our own tools.
Right.
And Sister Shafia, you've
Sister
given
Monroe, if you want, whatever.
you've given us tools. Look, let me just say this to the listeners before we continue. If you are a black woman listening tonight, you are not just a vessel for birth. You are a vessel for legacy. And I'm talking to a legend. And if you are a brother listening, know that supporting our sisters is not charity. It is survival. We must build structures that honor the sacredness of black life before it enters the world and protect it long after. Before we wrap, Sister Monroe, and I want to honor her husband tonight, Imam Mikhail Shabazz.
Yes.
An excellent man and one of
True.
my greatest brothers on earth. And we honor him tonight, and we honor him for his supporting of your work and his continual uplifting you and holding you up. It's a beautiful, beautiful
I
thing.
bear witness. He has been by my side entirely. And that's the other thing, too, like I said, getting that support. You know, God has to do it, but it would be so much harder without him. You know,
Yeah.
without someone who supports you. And you have so many, and I'm glad you said that, there are so many men who are a barrier to their woman or wives or girlfriend or whoever they want to call the term, is a barrier to their success. They feel uncomfortable, they're not sure what they're doing, and they should be supporting them because it's their call to God. They're
That's
not
exactly
in that.
right.
That's their business. You can't tell
That's
them what to
exactly
do.
right.
You should not
Exactly.
be. You know.
You know, black women today who are unsure of their purpose, um, overwhelmed by the world, but carry a fire from the ancestors that we've got to find. Shout it from the rooftops. Go to where you need to go. Find the community circles that you need to find, the spiritual connections,
Right.
the social connections. Talk to Mrs. Shafia Monroe. All the information has been on the screen all evening. Look for her, find her, seek her out. Ask her what it is that you can do. Be a part of the movement. You've got some things coming up here, don't you?
Come be, I tell people the doula is like a subdivision of a midwife. They don't do the actual delivery. And it's not our word, it's a Greek word, but it means really what we did historically, that when you had a baby, your mother knew how to take care of you. Unfortunately, our mothers don't know anymore because of all of the medicalization of women being put to sleep during birth and family, family not being involved. So it's been run really by a patriarchal system, out of Europe. So really, white men have taken over the birth of all women, of every race, and they're not good at it. Because they don't know, they're having little problems here. So.
I almost got in trouble. I was going to say they ain't get a whole bunch of things.
Right. So I feel like for black women, whether you don't have to want to be a midwife or even help with birth, but you need to know this information. This information is a rites of passage as a black woman. You learn about your health, you learn what Pastor Mondo is talking about, our legacy, you learn about what is the black diet. I was so excited to learn that black eyed peas come from Africa, sesame seeds come from Africa, what does it call it? Coffee comes from Africa. Okra comes from Africa. There's so many things. Rice comes from Africa. So many things come from Africa that, as I'm writing a book, by the way. So the book is called African American Postpartum Traditions,
Wait a minute, say it
Recipes.
slowly.
Okay, so I'm writing a book.
Uh-huh.
I have a publisher, Gazette Publishers. We'll have it out by February 2026, God willing, and it's called African American Postpartum Traditions, Recipes, and Rituals, Mothering the Mother.
Now, for those of you who didn't catch that, it's going to be at the bottom of the screen.
Yes.
Now, I want to talk just a little bit about your center.
Okay.
It's beautiful, and I haven't been yet. And I've got to come.
Yes, special invitation for you.
Yes, ma'am. And tell us a little bit about that and what we can do to help and where you need the biggest help.
Well, the center is a beautiful place in Gresham. I love Gresham. I live in Portland, so I had no idea. Gresham is a great place to be, friendly families. It's a big, nice place for our trainings take place there. We have meetings there. We'll be opening up a section for a chocolate cafe for doulas to come in and talk about what it's like to be a black doula in Portland, what the struggles are, what the successes are. I don't always want to talk about struggles. I also like to talk about what we're doing well, because we have a hormone called oxytocin that every human being has. When you feel loved and happy, the oxytocin rises in your body and makes your whole body heal. So when we talk about good things, it makes us well. So I think for black people, we have to be careful that we don't always talk about what's not going well. So this is about, the Chocolate Cafe is about what is going well. We're not going to put blinders on, but how are things going? How can we make things better? We're going to sing. We're going to work on our business plans, how to expand.
You said you're going to sing?
Yeah, sing. I know.
I love it.
I love being a midwife deep down in my soul.
Hey, hey.
I love being a midwife deep down in my soul. We have a song we sing for midwives and doulas and healers.
Don't you feel this energy? Look at the address, make the call, go and see what's up, and talk to Shafia Monroe yourself and get involved. I am just so happy to have had you tonight. But I need to do some special shout outs. We need to sell some stuff. I want to talk to you about our sponsors, Post Shines Cafe, De La Soul.
That's right.
8139 North Denver, right here in the Kenton district. Not just another restaurant, it's an institution and the best thing that you ever ate. Aunties and Tanties Daycare Services, nurturing our babies with excellence. And of course, we have a Dawn Electric lighting our way forward right here in lighting this set. Celebration Tabernacle. Come and visit me every Sunday morning. I'm here to meet you, and I'm here to greet you, and we like most people. To our powerhouse team. Happy birthday, Andy, Dion, Robin, Paul, and Miss Taviana. Thank you. None greater, none lesser, and they all stand tall. Follow us on Facebook. Facebook. I think the icon is right here, or whatever they call it. And our subscription place on YouTube, right there, I think. Turn on your notifications and never miss a beat. To our sister, Shafia Monroe, thank you for birthing change.
Thank you.
She births change and raising a generation of warriors, healers, and protectors. May your legacy never, ever dim.
And we want them to join. I want these women here to come join our next training in June. Or come to our conference, our doula conference at the Lloyd Center in September. Just come hang out and find out what doulas do, how you can be healthy personally, how you can take care of your pregnancy, postpartum care, not get postpartum depression. And they can follow me at Shafia Monroe on Instagram.
And you got the number up there, and we want you to call.
We do.
Until next time, I want you to stay rooted, stay rising, and remember, the revolution begins at the womb. Good night, beautiful people. See you next time. You know, I talk about a lot about knowing where you came from to know where you're going. Well, I came from the projects of St. Louis, Missouri, and I ended up into the majestic mountaintops of Portland, Oregon. It's been a wonderful journey, and Lewis and Clark took that journey from St. Louis to Portland, and I took it too. It talks about who I am, and as I'm with you often in the in cyberspace or on websites or on the, what do you call it, social media, I want you to know a little bit about me and who I am. This book talks about my fantasies, my failures, my triumphs, and more than that, it talks about the resiliency of being able to continue to go forward regardless of the odds. I'd get a copy. It's called From Maladies to Melodies. And I hope that you enjoy it and give me some feedback. God bless.
Hey, it's time for you to come to Post Shine. Check out that catfish sandwich. Oh my goodness, is that the shrimp po' boy? Man, look at that chocolate chip cake. Man, I need to get over to Post Shines at 8139 North Denver right now because this food looks delicious. Or call if you'd like, 503-978-9000. And don't miss it, you'll be sorry.
In times gone past, we find ourselves making excuses, so let me be reminded, ooh, I've got to get home and tend to the brand new missus. I need some time alone. Can't this wait until I finish texting on my phone?